Hi, and welcome back to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is January 13th, and we're on page 39 in your magazines. And today we have a short article for you. Our title is Henry Ford Makes History by Doubling His Workers' Wages.
中文标题是划时代创举，推动社会变革的福特5美元日薪。好 ，makes history 就是创造历史的意思。那 wages 是工资。
There's a lot of talk these days about raising the minimum wage in the States. So for a long time, and even now, people are saying we should have a minimum wage of at least $15. A lot of companies said we'll go out of business and we'll have to fire a lot of people, et cetera, et cetera. So some people in business were really against it. Others practiced it, and they found that it actually helped their business. They actually made more money by raising employee wages. The employees were happier. They did good work. Overall, they did better. But then something happened that changed the whole argument.
好，所以呢，这个其实提高基本工资其实是很多政府想要做的事情。那这个时候呢，企业就会出来说：“哎呀，你提高基本工资的话，我们大家就没有办法生存了。”啊，但是有一些企业呢，他们提高了工资之后，反而看到结果是，他们的这个营收反而会增加啊。所以这个到底这个提高基本工资是好事还是坏事啊？那这个其实是大家思考的。那刚刚 Karen 老师讲啊，很多人看到这样状况之后，他就可能决定要做或者不做，那接着就会发生其他的事情了。
That's right. And one way people have dealt with it is they're trying to use more automation so that they can use fewer humans to do some jobs.
那很多人想到解决办法就是那工资既然这么多麻烦的话，那我们是不是就找机器人来做这样就可以减少这个人工了。
And actually, there's nothing wrong with that because there's a lot of jobs that are really boring and repetitive. You might as well have machines do them.
好，那其实没有错因为很多工作很无聊，而且是很重复性的。那用机器来取代人力，这个是不错的
But on the other hand, for a lot of jobs, just like cashiers, you think, well, that's not a big deal. We should be able to use machines. And some places are using scanners, so you don't have to go through humans. I really enjoy that little interaction with a cashier when I go shopping. I would not want that replaced by a machine.
但是另外一方面，有些东西呢，其实有人是比较好的例如说你要结账的时候如果你用机器结账，当然是可能很方便但是有个人帮你结账，你可能跟那个人可以有互动所以很多时候其实这个人味是我们大家要考虑的一个问题你如果一切自动化之后，人与人之间的互动减少了，这个可能也会带来新的问题。
I really enjoy it, even if the interaction is very short. Just with the cashier at the supermarket, every time, usually I get a different cashier and I get to see a different person with different looks and a different voice and different hair and everything, and they have different ways of talking with you. Even if it's short, I really enjoy it. I would not want to give that up. That is one thing. But then I said there's something that happened that changed the whole argument, and that was the pandemic.
那这个所以 Karen 老师讲他例如说算账的时候，在超市结账的时候，每一次都有不同的这个收纳员，那你可以看到他是这个哪里地方不同，那可能会跟他有不同的互动。虽然说时间很短，但是人与人的互动是很珍贵的但是刚刚 Karen 老师讲，这个后来发生了一件事情，就改变了这一切，那就是这个新冠的这个大流行。
That's right. 因为疫情的关系 So now in America, there is a huge demand for workers and not enough people applying. So companies are really suffering, and they have started to offer huge rewards. If you just fill out a form and come in for an interview, you may be able to get $200 on the spot just for interviewing. They're so desperate for workers.
好，那这个新冠肺炎这个大流行带来一个影响，就是现在很多人都不愿意出去工作了怕被传染或什么的。
Especially if you have a lot of contact with the public.
尤其是你要跟大众接触的这种工作所以在美国很多这种工作呢，现在变得找不到人来做。那他们为了鼓励大家来做这种工作，会提出一些奖金，甚至于你如果这个填他们的求职表可能都会给你一些奖励。
还有面试
yeah.
That's right. And sometimes it's not just hundreds. It can go over 1,000. They will give you money just for coming in. So we have a chance to maybe hire you. So that is really changing things. The wages are higher and they're still having trouble getting workers. So this whole situation has changed.
所以这个现在就是改变了因为这个你甚至于可能你来面试，他可能都有的公司会给你超过$1000的这个奖励所以这个世界真的是在改变当中。
That's right. Okay, so let's go back to our article. Henry Ford really made history. When you listen to this story, you'll see that he did something really important that actually ended up helping his business. This story is told a lot, but it bears retelling. Our title again, Henry Ford makes history by doubling his workers' wages. These days, we all expect a minimum wage for the work that we do, and many countries around the world have even set a legal minimum wage for all employees. However, this was not always the case. On January 5th, 1914, Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, made a momentous announcement. He would be setting a new minimum wage of $5 per day for his factory workers. The news came as a shock to everyone. Although a $5 per day salary does not seem high now, at the time, Ford's change meant that his workers' salaries doubled in an instant. So, why exactly did Ford decide to implement this change? There are multiple possible answers to this question. Some believe that Ford genuinely wanted to reward his workers and improve their lives. Others feel that the change was part of Ford's business strategy. They suggest that Ford may have wanted to address the problem of high turnover caused by the drudgery of assembly line work. Still others believe that the wage change was simply a move for good publicity. Nevertheless, regardless of Ford's rationale, what cannot be denied is the impact the change had on the business world and beyond. To keep pace with Ford, other automobile manufacturers soon followed suit in increasing their workers' wages. The result was that the quality of life began to improve for many working-class people in America. This elevated some families into the middle class. In summary, the idea of a decent living wage for a fair day's work is one that is undeniably connected to America's prosperity and growth throughout the 20th century. Thus, Ford is considered a true pioneer of capitalism. And we are now going through a similar process right now, as we mentioned earlier. Okay, our title again, Henry Ford makes history by doubling his workers' wages.
好，所以他创造了历史，怎么创造呢？他 double 就是这个把它加倍了他加倍他的工人的薪资因此他创造了历史。
These days, we all expect a minimum wage for the work that we do, and many countries around the world have even set a legal minimum wage for all employees.
好 ，these days 其实就是 nowadays 不过很好，这个 nowadays 这个其实这里没有用到。
They finally got rid of it.
终于大家不用，因为 nowadays 这个台湾最少我知道很多人很喜欢用这个，不知道为什么
And it sounds very old-fashioned.
那但是其实 nowadays 听起来非常的这个很过时的那种感觉所以用 these days 很好那现在呢，我们都 expect 我们会预期有一个 minimum wage， 有一个最低的工资For the work that we do 我们所做的工作，我们都希望我们预期会有个最低的工资。然后呢，全世界很多国家many countries around the world， 甚至于有 set 就是设定有一个制定一个 legal 法定的 minimum wage 法定的最低工资for all employees 对所有的员工所有的这个雇员来讲都有一个最低的法定这个工资。
However, this was not always the case.Was
是过去式所以从前并不是总是如此就以前没有所谓的最低工资。
On January 5th, 1914, Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, made a momentous announcement.
好，在1914年的1月5日，亨利·福特他是谁呢？童伟宇告诉你，他是 founder， 就是创始人福特汽车公司的创始人。他做了一个momentous 就是很重大的很重要的一个 announcement 一个宣示一个宣布，
有点惊天动地的感觉。
Yeah.
He would be setting a new minimum wage of $5 per day for his factory workers.
他 would 在这里呢其实是 will 的过去式因为在这个 announcement 里面他说 I will do something， 但现在我们回头去看的话，这个 will 就必须要用过去式了所以 would 是这个 will 的过去式，所以他会setting 他将会做一件事情就是他会设一个新的 最低工资是5元的最低工资 per day， 每天最低工资是5元这个是对谁来讲呢？对他的这个 factory workers， 他的工厂里面的工人来讲，每天不管怎么样，你最少可以拿到5块钱当然有可能更多
Right, and we've had a lot of inflation since that period, so $5 was a lot of money back then.
当时5块钱是很多的
The news came as a shock to everyone.
那这个消息呢，各位注意这个用法come as a shock to 就是这个事情让大家都觉得很震惊的意思所以这个消息呢对每个人来讲听到了都觉得很震惊。
When we say it came as a shock to, that means maybe you as the reader don't think that's any big deal, but for the people then, it was really shocking. So it came as a shock to. That means maybe the speaker, maybe the listener wouldn't think it's so shocking. We need to point out that other people had a different experience of that news.
好，所以呢，这个it came as a shock to， 它感觉起来就是也许这个我们现在听的人觉得这好像没什么但其实对当时的人或者对其他人来讲这个是很大的事情。
Right, otherwise we just say, oh my gosh, what shocking news. The news came as a shock to her. We didn't think it would be so shocking, but to her it was shocking. All right, to continue. Although a $5 per day salary does not seem high now, at the time, Ford's change meant that his workers' salaries doubled in an instant.
好，虽然一个$5 per day salary， 一个每天5块钱的这样的一个薪水 does not seem high now， 现在看起来好像不怎么多但 at the time 当时呢，福特所做的这个改变表示他的 workers， 他手下的工人呢，他们的 salaries， 他们的薪水会 doubled， 会加倍in an instant， 就是瞬间马上顷刻之间就加倍了。
So why exactly did Ford decide to implement this change?
好，所以 那么 why exactly 就类似我们中文讲到底为什么到底为什么这个 Ford 他会决定要 implement this change。 implement 就是实施或者是执行，它后面常常是你可以 implement a change 或者 implement a policy 一个政策 policy， 你也可以 implement a plan 一个计划或者是你可以 implement a decision， 你可以实施一个决定那在这里是 implement 一个 change， 就实施一个改变。
There are multiple possible answers to this question.
Multiple 就是很多的， possible 是可能的， answers 是答案那问题的答案用的介系词是 to answers to this question， 所以这个问题的答案呢有很多可能的答案。
Yeah, multiple we could also say 多重的。This is a good sentence to just memorize because it happens so often. Very seldom do we have only one simple cause of something. Many things or reasons for something. Often there are many reasons that are all valid in differing proportions.
好，所以 multiple 其实也有那种多重的，它不只是多，还有各种不同层次的那个意思。所以这个字大家可以学这种用法。
Right. So when we're saying, well, why? Give me one reason. No, it's not one reason. It's about 6 reasons. Some believe that Ford genuinely wanted to reward his workers and improve their lives.
好，那有一些人相信福特他是 genuinely 就是真心地想要 reward 报答酬谢他底下的工人也是真心的想要 improve their lives 让他们的生活能够改善。
And that's convincing. Of course, the people who work for us, we hope that they have good lives so that they're happy and they do good work. Others feel that the change was part of Ford's business strategy. Of course, it's also part of your business strategy. You don't do something that's bad for business.
好，那其他的人可以注意到前面 some 就是某一些人不特定的，然后呢，另外一些人就是 others 所以 others feel that 很多人其他的人觉得怎么样？这个改变呢是他的 business strategy， 他的经商策略之中的一部分。
They suggest that Ford may have wanted to address the problem of high turnover caused by the drudgery of assembly line work. And that is also true. If you're always repeating the same action over and over again, that gets really boring.
好，那他们 suggest 就是他们提出他们认为这 Ford may have wanted to， 这个是从现在对过去的推测。好，我们从现在看，他当时也许是曾经想要干嘛呢？想要 address the problem address the problem 就是 deal with the problem 他也许是要处理这个问题。什么问题呢？是 high turnover 很高的流动率 或者转换率，换句话说它的工人呢流动率很高。那为什么会流动率很高呢？这个 turnover， 这个 high turnover 是怎么样？这个 caused by 有什么所造成的呢？ drudgery 就是指那个辛苦乏味单调的工作很琐碎辛苦乏味的工作叫做 drudgery， 所以他们可能是因为这个辛苦乏味单调的这个工作什么工作呢？是 assembly line work， 在生产线上面工作，因为你一整天做的是同一件事情，就是把这个零件放到哪里去，那这个东西是很单调很乏味很辛苦那这个很多时候其实我们讲到 drudgery 呢，其实就是我们想到的家事
Yeah.
因为你每天做的家事大概都差不多，但是不做又不行
Mopping the floor, doing the dusting.
Yeah. 所以这个因为在生产线上工作这个太无聊了，太辛苦乏味，所以很多人的就流动率就很高，做着做着我不想干了 Yeah.
That was certainly also true because he was a master at publicity.
好 publicity 就是宣传所以这个地方讲到说still others， 所以我们一开始是 some believe， 然后 others feel， 那还有另外一些人呢，我们就讲 still others。 那另外一些人 believe， 他们认为说the wage change 这一个工资上的改变 was simply 只不过是一个 move， 就是一个举动什么举动呢？他是要求得 good publicity， 就是希望能够正面的宣传这 publicity 其实就是媒体或者大众的关注或者甚至于这个报道。那其实所谓的 a move for good publicity 就类似中文讲的博版面不过我们博版面不一定是 good publicity， 有些人博版面可能就是只要能够让大家注意到我就好，他可能做的是很糟糕的事情。
Or you could say 促销。
促销 Yeah, that's another way to put it. Yeah.
So when you come up with an idea that number one, you think it actually helps the people working for you, and number two, it's good for your business, and number three, actually it's good publicity, why not? Because usually when we make a decision, it's because of several reasons coming together.
Yeah, 所以其实这三个理由都不错，所以加在一起的话，那当然那就做啦，那有什么好考虑的呢？
Nevertheless, regardless of Ford's rationale, what cannot be denied is the impact the change had on the business world and beyond.
好 nevertheless 然而 regardless of 就是我们且不论或者是不管，我们不管这个 Ford 他的 rationale 他的理由或者依据是什么rationale 在这里就是他做一个决定的这个思考的过程，他的理由他的依据。好，然后呢 what cannot be denied 就是你没有办法否认的是这个 impact 就是一个冲击或者影响that the change had 这个 that 省略掉了，就是这个改变它所造成的影响，在哪方面的影响呢？ On the business world 在这个产业界在商界所产生的影响 and beyond 还有商业界以外的这个各种产业各种社会层次所造成的影响。
To keep pace with Ford, other automobile manufacturers soon followed suit in increasing their workers' wages.
好 keep pace with 就是和谁脚步一致或者是跟上什么的他步伐，所以为了跟上这个 Ford 的步伐跟他一起脚步一致呢，其他的汽车制造商manufacturers 就是制造商很快的就 followed suit， 这是很棒的片语， follow suit 就是跟着照做的意思就跟着照做。然后呢在哪方面跟着照做呢？在 increasing their workers' wages 这一方面他们就照做，增加他们工人的薪资方面他们就跟着照做了。
The result was that the quality of life began to improve for many working-class people in America. So, of course, if he raises wages, other people have to raise their wages, or they're going to lose their workers to Ford.
Yeah, 当然了，因为如果福特把工资升高增加了，那其他公司也必须要增加，不然的话，他们的工人都会跑到福特那边去的。
That's right. So, the quality of life was improved for a lot of working-class people.
好，所以大家都赚了钱了大家的薪水都增加了嘛，所以结果是 the result was that the quality of life 就是生活品质开始改善了对谁来讲生活品质改善了呢？对很多 working class people 对于这个蓝领阶级这个很多工人阶级美国的工人阶级，对他们来讲他们的生活很多人都开始改善了，生活品质改善了。
This elevated some families into the middle class.
好，elevate 是提升的意思，而且 elevate 跟其他这个什么 lift 什么不一样的地方是 elevate 强调就是通常升上去之后就会 stay there 就停在那个地方，不会再掉下来了，那所以就是提升到某一个层次的意思。 好，所以他说这样的一个现象就提升了some families 把一些家庭把它提升到什么层次呢？把它提升到中产阶级的层次。本来可能只是工人阶级就赚的钱没有到中产阶级，可是现在薪资增加了，他们就晋升到中产阶级了。
In summary, the idea of a decent living wage for a fair day's work is one that is undeniably connected to America's prosperity and growth throughout the 20th century. So a living wage, that means giving your workers enough money that they can pay for their groceries and their rent. If you don't have a living wage, that means you're not making enough money just to keep yourself and your family alive. And decent means pretty good. It means 体面的。
好，所以呢，这个 in summary 总而言之，和简言之了The idea 这样的一种想法，什么想法呢？我们先讲 a decent wage。如果是个 decent wage， 这个 decent 就是像样的，
像样 is good。
还可以接受的，它不是很小气，还像样讲起来还像样，意思就是还可以更好，但是这样子也算不错的了那 living wage 是一种，就是像刚刚 Karen 老师讲，它就是你可以去足够你生活所需的不至于说你饿肚子什么的你可以达到收支平衡，这样的是一个所谓的 living wage.
Or can't pay your rent. That's a big one because rents are so expensive in the States. Housing in general is expensive. But not being able to pay your rent, that's been a huge problem.
或者至少你所谓 living wage 你可以支付你生活所需，包括你的房租食物等等的所以你能够有一个像样的可以接受的生活所需的这样的一个工资而且 for 就是你可以怎么样赚到这个工资呢？是 a fair day's work 所谓的 a fair day's work 的 fair 就是怎么样你很光明正大公公平平的，也就是说你没有投机取巧，你老老实实的做。
老老实实 is really good, yeah.
你老老实实的做这个工作所以就是你老老实实的工作一天，那我就一定要给你一个 decent living wage。那这样的一个概念呢 is one， 这个 one 就是 an idea， 也就是这样的一个 idea。这个 idea 是怎么样？是 undeniably 无法否认的。这个 idea 是 connected to， 它跟什么是连在一起的？跟什么？跟美国的 prosperity and growth。prosperity 就是繁荣， growth 是成长。Throughout the 20th century， 美国在20世纪它能够不断的繁荣，不断的成长跟这个绝对有关系，你无法否认。跟什么有关系？跟这种观念有关系，就是我只要老老实实的工作一天，我就可以赚到像样的一个生活所需的工资。
Thus, Ford is considered a true pioneer of capitalism. So not just a pioneer of industry,of the automobile industry or technology, but of capitalism in general.
好，因为这样子，所以呢，福特被认为是一个真正的 pioneers 先驱什么的先驱呢？资本主义的先驱。
Right. Okay, and watch the word automobile, the 重音 automobile. We have two short questions for you. Number one, what immediate effect did Ford's $5 per day wage have on his employees?
所以 Ford 一天5元的工资对他的员工有什么样的立即效果或者立即的影响？
The answer is their salaries doubled in an instant.
好，答案是他们的工资呢，就是马上顷刻之间就加倍了。
Number two, why did so many employees leave the Ford Motor Company before the 1914 pay raise?
好，在1914年的加薪之前，福特汽车公司为什么有很多员工会离职呢？
And the answer is because of the drudgery of assembly line work. So it says in the article there was a very high turnover of employees. That means lots of people would try the work and leave because it was just too much drudgery.
好，所以答案是因为他们在生产线上的工作呢，很辛苦、单调、乏味。
流动率很高。
所以流动率很高。
That's it for today. Please tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.